Hi, it's Jenny from A Stamping Journey. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia. Welcome to today's project. I want to show you how to create this front panel gatefold card. That's what I'm calling it anyway. I was inspired by one by Tamara Simon. I have adapted this with the measurements in both metric and imperial, and I couldn't wait to share it with you. It's a fun fold. It creates an extra surprise when the recipient opens these side panels. It's really easy to create once you know the cutting and scoring. I'll share with you the measurements in metric and imperial, but I'll also share the written tutorial in my newsletter next week. So if you haven't already subscribed to that, you can do that so you can receive the written PDF, and I send out a weekly tutorial with a different project, hopefully inspire you. So let's go through what you're going to need. I'll bring in the paper trimmer so we can get started cutting and scoring. You'll first want a piece of your base card. It's 21 centimeters by 29.7 or 8.5 by 11. Then you'll have some other card pieces. You'll have your card mat. That is 10.1 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters or 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. You'll have a white card. These are for the front of your card. So this one is 9.7 by 14 or 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now for the insides, you'll have 2 strips of cardstock. Choose some coordinating card with the paper that you've used. So you'll want the mats. You'll have 4.9 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters or 1 7/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And you'll have your designer series paper, 4.5 centimeters by 14 centimeters. You'll want a piece of white card for inside, and that will be 10.1 centimeters by 14.4 or 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So now we've got all the measurements and all the pieces. We'll go through and cut and score your base card. I'm using this gorgeous Petunia Pop cardstock. Isn't it the most beautiful color? So when your piece of card, you want to score it halfway on your trimmer. So I'm moving it to 14.8 centimeters. Now you would usually cut this in half for a base card. We don't want to do that. Keep that cutting blade out of the way. You're going to use your scoring tool. If you don't have a scoring tool, you might have a bone folder or something similar that you can score your card. We're going to use the trimmer, the scoring blade. So that's at 14.8 centimeters measure or 5 1/2 inches. Then turn your card. You want to slide it along your trimmer until 5.3 centimeters. Make sure your card is butting up against that edge on your trimmer. So it's at 5.3 centimeters or 2 1/8 of an inch. We want to score that. Now slide it along to our 15.8 centimeter mark or at 6 3/8 of an inch. Now you'll find it just gets a little bit tricky on the edge of our trimmer there. It gets a little in the brown area. The 16 is right in that gap, so 16 centimeters, but we want it just before that. So we'll just come along and mark it just before there. So once again, scoring that. Now we want to cut these side pieces off only at the top section. Leave these all complete. You don't want to cut any of those off. We'll measure that up again at those marks. I like to score it first so then we can go back along and cut it, just so I know that I've got it in the right place. And also you want to score that bottom section. This time we're going to use our trimmer blade. So just cutting off this top section, you slide your trimmer down to that midpoint and go back. I'm sliding it along to here as well, to that same measurement, 15.8 centimeters or 6 3/8. Cut that right down to our center line. Now turn your card this time back at that middle score line we did, 14.8 centimeters or at 5.5 inches. Now just using your trimmer blade, you just want to cut off from the edge of your card to that point where the score and cut line is. So just slowly take it down. The great thing about our trimmers blades here, you can see those little lines, these indents. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. That's really great. You can line that up, line up to the center where you have just cut to. So just give it a little tiny tap to that edge, and I lift up the trimmer grid and bring it back down this way. Hopefully you can see that I'm just cutting off the bottom section just to that score line again. So there you should have those two pieces cut off like that. Let's get the trimmer out of the way. Now we have our main piece. Sometimes I think my trimmer blade is getting a little blunt. You're getting those little shaggy bits. I use a little sanding block. This is one of the Stampin' Up ones that you had years ago. Sometimes even the makeup sanding blocks are really good, just for your nail file. Just a little tip. And I just give that a little sand along those edges so we don't see those little snaggly bits. Call them snaggly bits anyway. Okay, now we've trimmed that up. Let's get to work and put the card together. Now, I'm using, we'll bring our card back in. I've actually used the beautiful Stippled Rose Stamp Set on this card. You can decorate it however you like. And I'm also using the beautiful Unbounded Beauty Designer Series paper. Isn't it just gorgeous? The colors and the prints in this are just beautiful. What we want to do though is just stamp your front of your card. I'll just quickly do that. I won't completely finish the card, but I wanted to show you a couple of tips in putting the card together. So I'm using, this is a large stamp. We're just going to ink up our beautiful Petunia Pop card, ink rather. Have a little bit of a look at your stamp. Just check that there's no ink around your edges, and I'll just see that I've got pretty well most of it covered, and we'll stamp that in the middle of our card. I just do that at an angle, and I'm actually going to turn it because I like it facing the other way, but it's personal preference really. There we go. And I'm just going to actually grab another scrap piece of paper to stamp the rest, just because I'm going off the edge so we don't get ink all over the other grid paper. So ink that up again, and this time we're going for just the corner up the top here. So it's great having a clear block and you can see through that. It will lighten as it dries out more. And ink it again just by adding a couple of these gorgeous roses. You don't even need to colour it. If you want to, you can, but it's just so pretty. And I'm just turning the stamp a little bit to get into a position. However you want to do it, I'm going to come across the corner here. There we are. While I've got the ink out, I'm actually going to use our other card This one is for our inside piece, and I'm using the tiny little rose just to have a little stamping inside it. So giving it an ink, we can just stamp that in the corner there. I'm going to add a strip of the designer series paper, so just bring it up a little bit higher and stamp that there. So you can also add extra words inside it too. So now we can get rid of the Petunia Pop ink. So let's get back to the base card now. So we can fold it on these score lines. So what you want to do is just fold that in on at the top flat down. And I use the bone folder just to crisp up that fold and open it out again, and then bring these side pieces in. So give that a little bit of a crisp too. There's our base card, all cut and scored now, and folding them in. You'll find that it is a little bit thicker on the edge here because you've got those two layers. If that's a real issue, you can just take a little sliver of card off just those top edges there, just so it will fit, it will sit flat. You'll find that the bottom doesn't quite edge up too. So if that bothers you, just trim those edges up. So let's bring the finished card back in. We have our Front Panel Gatefold Card. Just gives you that little extra wow. I've stuck those designer series papers onto the card strips that you had there, adding some of the designer series paper, a different pattern on down the bottom, just so you can have that little colour there. And I die cut one of the leaves from the Stippled Roses, but of course you can decorate it how you want. Add a little bling on here. You could even have some plain white card and stamp it instead. Perhaps have a numbered birthday. That's even a great idea as a special birthday. So you can finish off the card. I've just added some dots, added a sentiment with some pretty and pink ribbon. So there's our Front Panel Gatefold Card. I hope you get to make one yourself. It's so fun and so easy to make if you just follow along with the cutting and scoring. Decorate it however you'd like. If you love the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up or a like. If you have some friends who you think would love it too, be sure to share it with them. If you're watching on YouTube, then if you would love to see more projects that I share, especially fun folds, I love making fun folds, then be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can check when I post new videos next. But have a lovely day, happy crafting, and thanks for joining me. Bye.